and we will start with Meg Linehan. Go ahead, Meg.
Hi, Sam, Meg from The Athletic. So Vlaco just opened up his part of the press conference by telling us that Becky Sauerbrunn is now captain of the team once again, and I was hoping that you could speak to both that decision, what maybe it means to the players, but also he said that no one individual can lead this team. And I'm wondering from a player point of view how important it is to both have kind of the symbol of a captain, but also this core of this group that has been together now for so long.
Well, I think first of all, like Becky has always been just like one of the leaders of this team, someone that we all look to for guidance, both on and off the field. I have said in the past, sometimes I like look to Becky as my moral compass. Like whatever she's doing is what I know is right, so I should probably do the same thing. And I just think her leadership here has been just really important for this team and for all the girls, especially the young girls coming up. I think she's always really made sure that she's there for us and that she's goes out of her way to make sure we're doing okay. And that's been like, she's just been like a really pivotal member of the team for so long. But I do think that, like Vlatko said, there's so much room for leadership here. And he said to us when he announced Becky that everybody leads in their own way. And of course, it will take more than just one leader to bring this team to success. So I think that we have tons of incredible leaders here who all lead in their own way, and everybody's valuable in that sense. So I'm really happy for and proud of Becky. And I think that the rest of us should continue to lead in the other ways that we know how and support her however we can.
Perfect. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, Sammy. Moving on to, well, we'll go to Dan. We'll give a nod to the other side of the pond there. Go ahead, Dan Pentland.
Thanks, Aaron. Hi, Sam. Just a question. Obviously, during this camp, we've seen Abby Dahlkemper come over to Manchester City and sign her deal. Just a word really on your opinion on Abby and what kind of impact she'll make at City. You must be delighted to see her join you over in England.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Abby and I have been playing together now since 2011. Like, actually, every year we've been on the same team. So it's exciting that we get to continue that partnership. She's obviously one of my best friends, and I'm really excited that she's going to be coming to Manchester. I think she's an incredible defender, a great player. I think she'll fit right in, and I know that she's really excited to get in and meet everybody and get started. So I'm just excited that I have another American coming, and it'll be really fun.
Thanks, Dan. I always think people got follow-ups and they don't, which is good. Jeff Kassouf, I'm going to unmute you and go ahead.
Thanks, Aaron. Jeff with the Equalizer. Sam, Vlaco was just asked about maybe how European-based players versus domestic-based players are looking fitness-wise, and he mentioned that you look quite fit, and that's a given, kind of that you're in season, so to speak. Just wondering, imagine the calendar sort of sets up nicely for you for getting toward the Olympics here, but does this January camp feel any different, given the first season for you abroad, where it's actually in season for you, and do you think that's setting you up well for the summer?
That's an interesting question. I feel like January camp it always just kind of has this feeling of like you really just want to like prove yourself, and you really are trying to like set yourself up to have a good year. January camp has such like a tryout feel, and it always has had that feeling for me. And I mean, I think that still rings true. I think this is such a competitive environment, and it's one where everybody is just working so hard. Everybody's going home and working so hard, and we all just want to come in and perform and try to earn some favor, some standing to get called back into the next camp. So I think that is definitely consistent, but I think I've noticed that some of the things that maybe I've learned or picked up at Man City have helped me. I think it's still like there are so many ups and downs of being here, and I've had struggles and I've had like good moments, but I think I'm trying to just pick up things that I've learned and like adapt and put them into my game where I can. And so for that, I'm really grateful that I've had such a great experience at Man City so far, and that hopefully I'm able to grow and learn and continue to evolve as a player because of that.
And just kind of some of what you mentioned there, was that part of the importance of making sure you got back for this January camp?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think a lot of this in the contracts was kind of set up before we even signed, but um, I think that being at the national team camp for me was really important. Of course, I wish I could be playing in all the Man City games too. It's like a difficult thing to reconcile, but this was really important, and it was, like I said, kind of in the cards a while ago.
Thanks, Jeff. Speaking of Jeffs, let's go to Jeff Carlisle. Go ahead, Carlisle.
Thanks, Aaron. Hi, Sam. How would you describe Becky's leadership style? She looks so composed out there, just the vast majority of the time. But just in your day-to-day interactions with her, I mean, how would you describe it?
Yeah, I think, well, like I said before, Becky's like moral compass just like points north. And so I think that she kind of serves as like this guiding figure for all of us where whether it's a team decision or an individual decision, I think we all just trust that she's making balanced decisions and that she would have like really measured advice to give. But I think that I would describe her as a selfless leader. I think she's always put the team before herself, and she's one of the first people to go out of her way to check in on somebody, to welcome a new player, to make sure that if somebody makes a mistake, they're getting a pat on the back. I think she's the kind of leader that we all strive to be, one that can really see what the team needs, value that above what they need as an individual. So the fact that she is still one of the best players in the world is kind of incredible when you think that she's constantly putting the team above herself. So I would just describe her as selfless and like a guiding kind of like just great like leading figure.
Okay, thanks.
I concur with that. Jackie Gutierrez, your question for Sam.
Hi, Sam. Jackie here at Women Kick Balls. I just kind of want to talk about your success in this past year because, towards the end of it, there was a lot happening at once, with the match against Netherlands being the first one back with the U.S. in a while, and then, of course, getting to reunite with your sister in that match, and then ending, the year with the Player of the Year award. So, in ending 2020 on such a high note, how do you hope to set the par this year in your career, especially looking ahead at the Olympics as well? Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I think 2020 was like a hard year in so many ways and for so many people, of course. And I think that getting to play it all for me, going to Man City, and then getting to rejoin with the national team was just such a gift to even get to be on the field. Obviously, I'm so proud of my sister for her success, and I hope that that continues. And being in camp with her right now has been really fun. But I think that moving into this year, obviously, we are planning on the Olympics happening, and I think my goals would just be to do my best to try to make that roster and help the team succeed. I feel like it's like bound to be another year full of ups and downs, so I think just kind of taking it one day at a time and focusing on what I can do to grow and improve where I am right now, which is here with the national team with these games against Colombia. So I'm just excited for the opportunity, and I hope that I get to continue playing here and at Man City at such a high level.
Thanks, Sammy. Let's move on to Sean McCaffrey. Go ahead, Sean.
Thank you. Sean from Soccer Island Magazine. Congratulations on your Player of the Year award. What would you say are the main differences between the training facilities and whatnot that you're getting at Man City as opposed to what you're receiving here?
With the national team?
Well, club team, but either.
Well, I mean, it's like no secret that the resources at Man City are like incredible. I think the facilities are incredible, and just the staff and the resources that we're given as players are really backed up by the club. So that's been such a wonderful experience for me. I think it's kind of hard to compare because the leagues are just and the clubs are just in such different places, like historically. But I think the resources we're given at the national team are top notch, and it's always, you feel taken care of here. And I've noticed in the NWSL that all of that is continuing to grow and improve, which I'm really proud of. I think that the Courage have done a great job evolving as the game has evolved, and I know that they'll continue to do so. So I feel really lucky everywhere I've been that I've had access to everything I need, and the facilities have always been really good.
Thanks, Sammy. On to Alex Ozzie. Go ahead, Alex.
Hey, Sam. Alex Ozzie with NBC Sports and On Her Turf. Curious, kind of maybe even piggybacking off of that question. I feel like for a lot of people, when they hear Manchester City, they think probably the men's team. I'm sure there's some inherent sexism in that, and just even sometimes like in the way it's branded as women has to be added into the name in order for people to know it's the women's team. And maybe I'm biased given that I'm covering the U.S. women's national team, but that seems to be less the case in the U.S. these days, at least in terms of the way the national team is branded. And I'm curious if you've had any like takeaways from looking at the way that the women's team, both the national team and now your club team, are being like propped up or marketed and branded or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that in the U.S. that we have been pushing for things like this for a long time. I do know that City has, I think in 2018, started this branding. I think it's same city, same team or something. But I definitely think that they have provided us with tons of resources, and we work out of the same building as the men. And I think that that kind of like brand recognition for the women is definitely growing. So what I've seen has been very positive so far. I don't know exactly how to compare the two. But I would just say that I think women's football in general is definitely like on the up, and it seems to be growing and attracting a lot of interest from brands, from fans. And that's something I think we can be excited about both in the UK and here in the US.
And if I can just ask one follow-up to that, do you get the sense that for other teams in the WSL, like they're receiving the same resources that Man City, or do you think Man City is unique among them?
I'm not sure actually. It has been an interesting time because we have away games, but there's no fans, and it's kind of hard to tell. I'm sure that Man City is among the top resource-wise and facilities-wise. That's at least what I hear. And so in that sense, it's such an honor to play there. But I do, from what I hear and what girls have said about the past, I think everywhere is growing and getting better. And I think that if we can just continue to support with brands, with fans, with people being engaged in the game and the league, I think that even those teams who do have less resources right now will start to grow and evolve.
Awesome. All right, last two for Sammy. Sandra Herrera, go ahead.
Thank you. There we go. Hi, Sam. Thanks so much for taking the time. We've in the media have had a few calls with Blacko, with some of your teammates, and Megan Rapinoe specifically came on with us and had some very honest things to say when asked about the current state happening with the current events happening at the Capitol. So I was just sort of wondering, with sort of bridging that together with the announcement of Becky Sauerbrunn, who's also been another teammate who has also been very honest about the maybe shortcomings from the national team in terms of support for Black players. Just sort of what your perspectives are heading into 2021, getting more matches with your teams in light of us sort of going through a new transition with the newly elected president and some of the sad events that we're seeing out of the Capitol.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I can say that the events that happened at the Capitol, it was very sad and difficult to watch. To be honest, with most things like this, whatever Pino said is pretty much what a lot of us think. And so I don't think I could say it better than her. So I would just refer to what she's put out. But I do know that there is hope, I think, among our country and among this team in general. I think that things will take a turn for the better soon. And I think that we are committed to continuing to stand against racism. And I hope that we can convey that and that we can really take action, make sure our Black teammates feel supported. But yeah, again, I would just refer to what Megan said. I think that she said it best, and hopefully we have opportunities to demonstrate that we are against racism and against obviously the events that happened at the Capitol.
Looking ahead to Colombia, what are some of the challenges that you're maybe looking towards and taking on a team like that?
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting game. I feel like they have some talented individual players, and I don't know when the last time we just had our meeting, but I don't know when their last game was, and I think it's going to be interesting to see them play, to play against them. We've had some interesting games with them in the past, so I think we're just excited for the challenge, and we know we've been working on this camp in some particular areas, so I'm excited to see how we can execute that and take on this opponent.
Awesome. Last one goes to Natalia Geraldo. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Sam. Well, from Colombia, we admire the kind of commitment that you have with your national selection. We started the professional path in soccer, and Colombia was a great team years ago. What do you expect from this team, knowing that we don't have most of our top figures for these matches?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we expect to have a good game. We know that Colombia has given us difficult games in the past. And we know that there are some talented players on the side. So I think, again, like, we're just really excited for the challenge. And we know that we've watched some clips and watched some film, and there are definitely some areas that we're focusing on. But I think it's a great opportunity for both countries, both teams to have these games and see how we can set ourselves up for the year.